All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Haikyuu, Season 4, Episode 20.
420. Blaze it.
Yep. We might not blaze past the second set with a W, though, even though Suga might really want to hype us up for that one there.
Yep.
We have the captain of Inarizaki subbing out Aran, which that's a really crazy thing to think about because the captain must be like pretty good being a third year, but
Aran's in the top 5, but then it's like, hey, they've been focusing him, so now it's like, okay, if he's tired, but he can just like, the captain just subs out, it's like, okay, so then the captain must still be quite good.
Right. To be subbing out one of the top 5 players, or for top 5 aces in Japan.
So okay.
So all right, this guy's got to be legit. And he's also got the very like serious eyes and stuff, so he very much looks like he's going to run a tight ship and carry Inarizaki to a win for the second set at the very least.
Yeah, given how stern he was with the reprimand of the other player, it would make sense, I would hope, that he would approach his own playing with the same fervor or even more so.
Right. And possibly make a really tough third set fight for Karasuno, if they take the second set away from them. Yeah,
and Karasuno probably won't be able to take the second set. Like, they've got a good lead, you know?
Yeah, Inarizaki is, I think, at 21 points right now, and it's just a question of how far behind Karasuno is. I think Karasuno is at least 4 or 5 points behind.
Yeah, I believe so. So as long as they don't drop the ball too much, then they should be good. And then who knows, maybe then Aran will be able to sub back in for set 3. He just needs that little bit of break, rest, whatever.
For sure.
Yeah.
But, all right, guys, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Haikyuu just does it again.
Wow.
How do you combine the emotion of a gripping backstory that's really simple, that turns a shtick into a well-rounded bit of characterization, and give us the hilarious comedy of freaking Hinata dual-wielding machine guns? What? What is this show? How?
God, I love it. It's wonderful. Oh man.
Oh man. So good. So let's go with the emotional stuff first.
Yes. So,
Shinsuke Kita or Kita Shinsuke.
I loved that whole backstory.
That's like, so cool.
So and with the character design that he has, it didn't really surprise me. You know, like it was definitely a pleasant surprise in that regard. But it wasn't like, oh, this is so out of left field, right?
Because we guessed a lot that he would be some kind of a drill sergeant, but we didn't know that he would be quiet necessarily. Yeah. That was something that we thought could be the case. But
the whole idea of that sort of like, you know, unnerving, almost unnatural competence in some specific regard, you know, that goes hand in hand, it seems, with, you know, anime characters that have white hair. Awesome, right? But then the idea of, no. Because, and this was one of the other things I was curious about is, he's subbing out for Aran. Aran is top 5 spikers in Japan. Yeah. You don't just sub someone like that out.
You don't just sub your best or second best player out.
Right. You know, without very good reason. And I like that, one, it was temporary, but 2, we got into what he brings to the table. Because there's a reason why he's the captain, but not a starting player. Right? Because no, he's not that great. Yeah. But
he's above average.
Yeah, he's above average, you know? Yeah. But the presence that he carries and everything is you know, tangible. And in a match in nationals, right, where they need to win, they can't afford to make mistakes, that is where he does the best, right? Because it is no different for him versus versus a practice, right? Whereas for everyone else, there's the fact that it's nationals, not a practice. 2, oh, we're doing so well, you know, things like that. Oh, who are we playing against? No, none of that matters to him. He just does his thing. It's kind of boring, you know, and regular, steady Eddie, you know. And
he is a powerful representation of something that Daichi carries in a different way, though. Daichi is steady Eddie in filling in the cracks for his team with regards to mechanics and stuff. Right. But Daichi is more of the vision caster. He kind of looks ahead and calls them up to the future and is like, we shall do this. And, you know, crows billowing, wind and all that. It's wonderful. But Shinsuke, or Kita, whichever one you prefer. He carries something in consistency and confidence.
Right.
And yet, he also is the billowing wind of, let me use a different word. He is cold logic as well. Usually, in my team sports experience, a cold logic player is marred by low charisma. Therefore, they have trouble communicating directly to the players that they are messing up or need to change up their strategy or stick on a specific thing because they can't build that rapport with the team. However, because he has, I would say, neutral charisma, no negatives here necessarily, but nothing really strong and positive, it's that they see his consistency. Someone is always watching. All his team sees his consistency and goes,
I am the one who knocks.
Right. I have to listen to this guy. I have to respect him. I don't see him, breaking character. And yet they have seen him break character at very key moments. We saw him cry when he got that jersey. We know that he cares so much about volleyball. It's not just a thing of where he's like, I am robot. I do not get nervous. What I do in practice. No, he has emotion. He cares so much about this sport, about this team, and each individual player. That moment where he gave the little care package to Atsumu, and it made him really cry. That's just endearing.
That was so wonderful. Because I feel like the tropes that I've seen with this or the ways I've seen this character trope of the person that is sort of the cold exterior, type of person that maybe you'll see their emotional side once in a while and it'll be awesome. Usually it's not that they're cold as their way of doing things, but it's that they cannot understand emotion. They cannot comprehend it, right?
Exactly.
Which doesn't that can make for a stronger contrast with when they do the emotional stuff, but it doesn't make me personally as engaged with them. I still do love it when it happens, right? But so things like the little care package where he's like, no, go home. This isn't a good thing to be.
And don't you encourage
not taking care of yourself. And what are you doing encouraging him?
He's not taking care of himself.
Right, exactly. The ice blows through the room. That was not a cushioned.
Right.
Well, it wasn't a blow is the thing. It was just a statement, and then you see, and if it was just that, Asumu might have been a bit bothered by it,
Atsumu, Osamu is the other twin.
I believe I said Atsumu.
Okay, gotcha.
But he might have been a bit bothered by it, but then he sees that
he got me pickled plums, man.
He cares about you, boo. This is something that he's doing because he sees that you'll be your best self if you take care of yourself, and so go take the day.
So I'm going to take a little extra step to try and take care of you so that you can take care of yourself. One of the things that's really special about the interactions that he had with Aran that I thought was rather cool was the idea that he would ask questions of Aran I don't see why people get nervous. I don't really understand it. And he's like, what? Why? What are you, some kind of robot? And he's like, no, I just don't get it because you only get nervous because you're trying to be more powerful than you usually are, right? And it's like, well, when you do the day-to-day things, you don't get nervous. Isn't that what practice is? Just you kind of
establishing what the day-to-day is.
And it's like, that's totally it. But then, this is their best player or their second best player building all this respect for this guy who very much is not anywhere near his skill level with regards to how he plays and stuff. But there's this aspect of him just wanting to showcase to his team how he can bring some wisdom to the table in a way that isn't condescending or in any way belittling them, just being like, no, this is the best way I can support you. I do this for your benefit, not for mine. And that's the whole thing of he doesn't care who's watching. That was the point where he basically achieved enlightenment, that his grandma might have accidentally created a monster if this went the other direction of someone is always watching, you need to be perfect.
Right, and then shame if there's any imperfections or things like that.
Exactly, but no, it went the complete other way, which is someone is always watching, so why don't you take this opportunity to enjoy the process of going through these things, because the people that watch you will emulate you and absorb little bits of you and stuff there, and that does affect not only you, but others as well. So you can do so much good for the world just by doing the little things consistently. Right. And God, isn't that inspiring?
Oh yeah.
It's not some like grand wisdom of the ages or anything. It's just right.
And you were made captain because someone was watching.
Yeah.
And even if for most of his life it just turned into sort of a thing of, well, I'm watching, so I care about this and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's great. That's wonderful. But then seeing that there is concrete acknowledgement and benefit from it, because recognition, babies cry for it and grown men die for it, right?
True.
So in this situation here, he's doing a lot of this stuff, and what his grandma said was because people are watching, right? So that's kind of like a way of saying, hey, there will be recognition for it, right?
Right. People will at the very least acknowledge it. Yeah.
Exactly. So then he goes into it, but then it becomes more of his own thing of, I like doing this, right? I'm not doing it.
Feels good.
I'm not doing it for the recognition. It's just because this is what I like to do.
Yeah.
But then he ends up getting it after not getting it for a long time, and it's this thing of, oh, what is this? This feels good. Like I feel like it's like the thing of where you have the kid that's, never like had a good relationship with their parents or something like that. And then someone randomly like, ends up giving them a hug or telling them they did a good job or, or something like that. And they just don't know what to do with that because they're like,
I never got that.
I never got that. Yeah.
But I love this little encounter he has with Aran after the bit where he got the jersey, and he's like, the results are nothing more than a byproduct, but it's not like I'm making a living playing volleyball or going to make a living playing volleyball, but I wonder if this is a result too. Yep. And Aran's like, who cares about the small stuff? If you don't need a reason for emotions, if you're happy, you're happy. And that's so perfect for him to say this, because it's not that he's saying whether or not that, he's happy. He's basically saying the reasons why you do things aren't important. If it makes you happy, be happy about it. So he's like, I want to encourage you, and you doing these little things and stuff, they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but they're making you happy. So
more power to you.
More power to you. Yeah, you go for that. If that makes you happy, it makes you happy. And I love it because this is the kind of thing that I wish was one of the strengths I had growing up, was the idea of learning how to acknowledge and respect the little things and doing them consistently. Because I can totally see multiple areas in my life where the little things were not necessarily as valued or spoken, with high regard. Or
within yourself, or like with people around you?
In my environment and stuff in general. But yeah, then of course it carried on to me as well. So it's just like, oh, this guy, I would follow this guy.
Yep. And what I love about this is that this is as contrast to how we saw him up till this episode, which was oh damn, this guy's cold and, well, a robot, but like maybe a bit much. Like, I mean, I know they're playing at the national level and everything, so it's sort of needed, but wow, that's not necessarily the kind of person that would seem like a good leader.
Or at the very least, we need to know why they're willing to accept this kind of critique.
Exactly.
Because there's something a bit cold about it.
Right. Normally you wouldn't. If you
that's the thing.
If you didn't have a connection with the person and, they were to say something like that, especially if it wasn't like their job specifically to do that,
Yeah.
All right, flip them off and go about your day.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the irrational stupidity of human beings, is that someone can tell you the right thing straight to your face.
Yep.
But because you don't like the way it's being said, or you're just in a bad mood that day, you don't receive it.
Right.
Yep. I've been totally on that end where I'm like...
I've never been that person.
No. Like, I've been like on both ends, but I'm talking specifically about the ones where you're on the receiving end of it.
Yeah.
Of someone kind of just saying like, hey, dude.
Right.
Like, this is a this is an irrational thing that you're doing here. And it's just like, yeah, you're right. And they just don't change anything about it. There is something that is very valued in having the connection with the person in order to accept the wisdom. But sometimes, especially in a professional or team sports setting, one of the most helpful things you can have is someone who is there just to give you pointers and just tell you when you don't know something that you don't know.
Like, sometimes one of the most helpful things someone can tell you is that's a shit idea.
Yep.
You know, like
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never had that in my Ultimate Frisbee team. One of the things that was really frustrating about my Ultimate Frisbee team was that no critiquing was generally accepted, just in general, because it was more of a casual kind of thing and stuff like that. So I would end up, unfortunately, being the one every once in a while that would be like giving unwarranted critiques with regards to how we can do the things better. And I had a confrontation moment with some people who were like, you need to back off. This isn't your job. I was like, oh, dang, yeah, you're right. I'm crossing a line. And what ended up happening was there was a conversation I had with my captain, and he would show how he would bring up these kinds of things, but make it about the form of practice, of a specific thing. But he would always ask to see if this was something they were interested in growing in. But then we basically kind of established a little bit of a thing together where we would be like, okay, we can talk to each other about this stuff, though. And it led to some really cool moments and stuff like that.
Nice.
He could call me on bad plays and bad decisions and stuff like that.
Speaking of moments, though.
Yeah, moments, though.
That shot of... Yeah, going from Inarizaki's blockers and everything, sword and shield, it's great. Then cutting to Karasuno. Suki with the one massive shield. And Hinata dual-wielding big-ass machine guns with a squawk on his face and a cry in his heart. And yes.
God,
I love that image so much.
It's like, so freaking stupid and hilarious.
It's so stupid, but so wonderful and perfect. Like, because we've had things of a similar nature to
the
this.
bazooka Kageyama Hinata thing from season 1?
Yeah, exactly. We knew this whole time that Kageyama was sort of the person that had Hinata on the leash, and he'd be like, all right, go sick him.
Sick him, boy, yeah.
Right. But this shot is just like, it's like the kind of thing that you would expect to be like on the cover of an action movie, like some crazy like Chuck Norris, like, okay, I've got the dual wielding guns and like,
this is our son child, but he will kill you, like, screaming his head off. Pellets coming your way. And then there's the practical JoJo character with his stand just going yada yada does Tsukishima. That's really cool though that they're doing this here, because it's a reminder that these two are growing. But in terms of what they represent for Karasuno, they are the future of their offense and defense in a really cool way.
That's true.
I'm excited to see how they set things up with Tsukishima specifically, because they did that other thing with Rintaro, acknowledging that, whoa, Kageyama
is actually, he does scarier blocks than Tsuki.
Yeah, and it was specifically the fact that he did this block against our ace, but he did it by himself.
Right.
I think that is partially the training coming into play here, where Kageyama played with a bunch of freaks out there and like some really crazy strong, spikers and other players and stuff during the Olympics boys, whatever team.
The super training camp.
Exactly. Yeah. And that, like, setting up maybe a little bit of a Tsukishima, my inferiority complex is starting to come out a little bit, because he looked at Hinata when Hinata was making that move and stuff and was given a little bit of
because Suki's thing, even though he did have his moment, was this is just a club.
Right.
Well, Kageyama, for one, got a very clear, message that no, this is not just a club.
Right.
We might want you for the Olympic team.
Right.
Right. That's
national.
That's crazy.
Representatives of Japan or what have you.
Right. Yeah. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's the kind of things that happen as a result. You end up being a bit scarier to the enemy. Suzuki, You do like being scary, though. You do like sort of,
and this guy's been kind of making a mockery
looking down
of
on
you
people
with
and all that.
Really cool quicks and stuff. And
exactly.
All that. So, you getting hungry, Suki?
Yeah.
This is one of the things I like to yell out when playing some kind of sport or anything like that. Stay hungry, because there's this feeling you have when you want the win and you want to play and participate and be involved in it, and you're just like a carnivore just wanting to tear that meat apart. You're just like,
need it.
I need it. Yeah. And that's what Hinata has in spades. He has so much of that.
Absolutely.
And he inspired that in a lot of the players, like Tsukishima a little bit.
Right, and then Tsukishima as the cat is also just sort of like,
so noisy. But we got to see a little bit of another character who's usually not as hungry showcase a bit of that in his adorably awkward, kind of kudere way. And Asahi trying to cheer up Nishinoya. Yeah.
That was adorable.
It was adorable. Yes.
So even though Asahi didn't necessarily do it very well and everything, Asahi and Nishinoya, their bonds are close.
Yes.
Right? We remember what happened in season 1.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that he's coming up to Nishinoya, the one who has always been the dependable one, the guardian deity, the rock that they could always fall back on, and he's saying, hey, I know you're having trouble. Well, yeah, no, of course you're having trouble, right? But I'm cheering for you. Like, that's... God. As far as things to motivate someone, like, or at least things that would motivate me, that would be way up on the list.
Yeah. And we had lots of funny moments in that bit as well, with like Kageyama being like, I would prefer if you paused it up a little bit higher.
Kageyama, we need to talk about your timing. Yep.
Yeah. And this little bits of banter in the team dynamics is part of the reason why I love Haikyuu so much. When the games are going, I can get excited about how the game's going to go with regards to who's winning and who's scoring points, how they're scoring points, blocks, serves, receives, etc., rallies, all that jazz. But what I just love so much is how Haikyuu just blends in these little bits of banter in between points, in timeouts, in little just exciting celebrations and stuff. Yeah. And this episode felt like we got a lot more than we usually have been getting. And just like moments like, yes, Tsukishima, he slays. Like, yes, it's practically an art form. Like, it's so beautiful to see this much just emotion and dramatic facial expressions and stuff from our boys in this game. Oh, yeah. And we're on the third set. So we still got like a little bit of a ways to go, but we're closing up on the end here. Like,
and I loved how they did the transition from set 2 to set 3, because especially with the whole Nekoma match and everything, it's like, okay, we know Karasuno's going to win. They're going to face Nekoma because they have to.
They have to. Come on.
Right? It's gonna happen.
Yep.
But one of the things that I had always wondered with these 3-set matches is how do you make Karasuno win the first set and not make the rest of the game feel boring?
Right.
Because how do you sell that they might actually lose 2 sets in a row? Well, have them lose the set by 8 or 9 points or whatever that was.
That'll do a little bit.
That certainly helps.
Yep.
And then 2, make it be something where they take that energy and they carry it into the third set, the enemy team, right? So it's they're getting a second wind. They actually could run away with this. We probably got this. But because it's not that we need to think that Karasuno will lose, right? Because no, they're going to win. But that doubt.
Yep. Just a little
bit. Just throw that doubt in there so that we're like,
right. They have to win, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like that.
Please.
Yeah, exactly. So, I really liked how that was handled, because I was a little bit worried that when they went into the third set, it would need to be like something that was really fast, just because we know how this is gonna go,
Yeah.
But
thankfully, the application of bringing in a character for Inarizaki in Shinsuke Kita was handled to perfection.
Yes.
I was already feeling the tears just come up and just well up in my eyes, and my heart was just beating terribly fast, and I'm like, I have to protect this boy. And he's like like he's like a 25-year-old or a 35-year-old in terms of maturity. Like, he doesn't need protecting. He's the one protecting all of them.
But it's like, but you want to give him that recognition and make sure that he
give
has
him that jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
You earned this.
Is there any way we can give him another jersey?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We give him the Precious Boy jersey. We should start like a thing where we're all like, we should now give the Precious Boy jersey to like 35 of the Haikyuu characters. They're like, and one for you, and one for you, and one for you.
By the way, given that, our main other character that we see in Inarizaki and Atsumu is not a precious boy. Like
not yet.
Like I love him, but he's not someone that engages my sympathies, shall we say, right? He is a very entertaining character to watch. He's a terrifying volleyball player, and I want to see how he plays and everything.
Sure, yeah.
But as far as engaging the sympathies for the team that is probably going to lose, bringing in this new character, which normally you would think would be a weaker way to do it because you haven't spent as much time with them. But no, that's fine. No, they were able to do it just fine.
I would say that his little moment of being like, having the cold and, being like,
that was
you're
wonderful.
Gonna make me feel all the things. I could very much see Miyatsumu, who's lost the match and is having that moment of realizing, I needed this win. I needed this win. I could very much see my sympathies going out for Miyatsumu. Yes. Even though he is a bit of he is a bit of a boy,
Right. But yeah, that moment definitely did a lot to not change my perspective on him, but give me additional information, shall we say.
He's very passionate about the sport. He loves the sport. And he likes playing up against strong opponents, and he's currently doing so.
Yep.
And third set's gonna be hella fun. So thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see a full-length timer version of this reaction where you sync up your footage to our timer, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get any level of support there, gets you access to our Discord where you can chat with us and the community there. Lots of Haikyuu fans about the show. There's stuff for the manga fans in there as well, but we chat about the episodes week to week and stuff like that, and also just general anime stuff like that. But also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Indeed. We stream Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific time for each of those days. Mondays is podcast, Tuesdays is One Piece dramatic manga readings, Wednesdays and Fridays Caleb does gaming.
Right, I'm playing Hades right now.
And then Thursdays I do Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.